Hey guys, welcome back to Medical Coding with Blue. Today's episode is all about, is medical coding going away? If you're brand new to my channel, welcome. I am Blue, I'm a medical coder. Okay guys, I got a comment. I'm gonna read the comment and then we're gonna get into it. So, let us begin. The viewer writes in and says, hi, I have a question. I was speaking with a recruiter for a local college where I live about my interest in medical billing and coding. And she told me last year they ended the classes because medical billing and coding is a dying career because technology is now going to do everything. How true is that? This could not be further from the truth. This is a complete lie, because if you check out the Department of Labor, you will see that actually medical billing and coding career field is actually on the rise. What happens in these schools is, remember who you're asking for advice. This is a person whose business is to sell a school and sell the programs. If they're a recruiter, they're going to want to have successful programs. Now, here's the thing. Not all of these colleges can actually get trainers or actually get people who are medical coders to come and teach the classes. And it's very difficult. If you look in the job listings, you will often see positions for instructors for medical billing and coding. So one of two things may have happened. Either there was not enough interest in the area, or they just couldn't afford to run the department, because it takes money and it takes people to run that whole department. So it could be one of those two things. So it's a good thing, and I told the viewer I was so glad that they reached out to ask about that question, because if you just take somebody's word for it, like so many people unfortunately will do, and just completely just forget about it, they'll see that like later on, hey, I really should have done my research. So I'm really glad that the person did their research. The other thing is this: medical billing and coding is always going to be here. Why? Because this is something that doctors are always going to need, facilities are always going to need, because people will always need health care. People are always going to get sick. There's always going to be a need for medical bills. There's always going to be a need for statistical data mining, right? When it comes to like local statistics of how much a condition affects so much of a population. So there's a lot of things that medical coders are responsible for that people really don't think about. Yes, there have been like upgrades in the last couple decades, obviously, with the encoder and of course the electronic medical record. But these are really only to kind of augment what we do. This is why it's so important for medical coders to learn all they can about the medical field. We have to know what doctors know while never having gone to medical school. It could not be a more true saying, because we have to understand what the documentation says. We have to understand how to pick up these codes, when we should pick up these codes. So there's a lot of things that go into us doing this. The electronic medical record has already proved that it's not always the most reliable thing in the world, right? Because it is just looking for words. And an electronic medical record is only as smart as the program that was bought, okay? Because some, and I'm not going to name names, but some electronic medical records actually nickel and dime facilities in order to get a better service from that electronic medical record. I'm just saying. So not all of them can be reliable. And the more artificial intelligence you use, obviously, the more expensive the program. Now, the thing about artificial intelligence is, yes, it's here, it's out in the world. Yeah, I get it. But even with encoders that rely on what we tell it, right? And the way that it's going to select the path to the final code that it's going to give is really all dependent upon the user themselves. These electronic medical records and artificial intelligence would have to literally read the provider's mind in order to get the correct codes, to get the correct levels. Because again, it is just looking for words. It's not going to look at it with a human eye and be able to figure it out like, hey, this is actually a history of this condition, not actually something that they need to pick up in this particular encounter because it's already been resolved. Is the artificial intelligence going to know this? No. So again, there's going to be times where people say things ignorantly, And I say ignorantly because maybe this person doesn't know, or maybe this person that was telling the person this doesn't want to have to push a program that has been unsuccessful for their college or their school. So that's another thing to think about, right? You can't always believe what these college recruiters are trying to sell you, or even a school recruiter for like a trade school for medical billing and coding. There's a lot that you have to do your own research on. And again, a lot of people don't do their research, and it can lead to different and bad choices, okay? So if you're wondering, is it going anywhere? No, it is not. They are always going to need us, but we as medical coders also have to put forth a good effort in order to be well trained. There's a lot of really bad medical coding programs out there. There's more bad programs than there are really good programs. And, you know, I did the review a couple days ago about, you know, Penn Foster, and I've done the one before about Ed2Go. And highlighting these, I'm not endorsing either one of them, but what I am saying about these programs is it's very self-driven, like most medical coding programs are. And there's, you know, ways that you can learn this on your own. That's typically what it is. And so that's something that you have to keep in mind when you're researching and you're wanting to get into this field. There's not always going to be an instructor there to hold your hand and to kind of guide you through. If you get that, that's fantastic. You were very lucky. But for the vast majority of new students, there's not that. And it's partially another reason that I came up with my channel, is to tell people the truth. You can't always believe what you hear, because they've been telling us since before I started. And I've been in the field since 2008. Okay, and so they've been saying, oh, that medical coding is going away. Well, we're still here, and we survived the ICD-10 CM changeover, ICD-10 PCS as well changeover in 2015. So if, you know, people had thought about that, they say, oh, it's going away once ICD-9, you know, goes away, it's going to go away. No, we're still here, and we learned it collectively as a field in health information. There was a lot of scary talk, like, is there going to be a mass exodus of coders because they don't get it? And what they found is that coders, you know, really kind of dug in and learned, and they were able to pick it up. And it was a very seamless transition from ICD-9 to ICD-10, although it was met with a lot of resistance because people were just unsure. But the thing about it is that should prove to people that when you want to learn something, you can. And when you choose a path, yes, it is going to develop, it's going to get more sophisticated, but it doesn't necessarily mean, oh, it's going to go away because of technology. That was just very wrong of that recruiter to say that. And I'm not even going to say the school, I'm not even going to say the state where it's from, because I don't want to embarrass anybody. But that should be your warning that you pay attention to, is that people talk like they know and they don't know. It's like these recruiters that try to push all of these other credentials. Oh yeah, you need them in order to get a job in medical coding. No, all you need is one certification, either through the American Health Information Management Association or the American Academy of Professional Coders, because these are who employers are looking for when they're looking for medical coders. And all you need is one. And I say this especially to my new people, because I see so many of them on LinkedIn. They'll have a CPCA, which is a Certified Professional Coder Apprentice. And typically this means that the person doesn't have experience or has less than 2 years of experience. And they're getting all these credentials that are really saying all kind of the same thing if you roll it into the first credential, the CPC. And so they're getting so excited because they have all of these, and yet they still have the CPCA. And when I see them get like the CPMA, which is the auditor credential, and they're just so excited with it. I spoke to a lady who had that and had their CPCA, and I asked her, what are you going to do with it? Well, I don't really know. They just told me I needed to get it. You don't have to get everything that's put in front of you, guys. If you look at the job listings, you will see that all the employers are asking for is one certification. I had one certification for 13 years. 13. And I would still have it today if I wasn't doing things in the background to change that. So I had to change my credentials and put my CCA to bed. So that's just something that you really have to, you know, not always listen to what you hear. This is why I tell you guys to stay away from Facebook medical coding groups, because a lot of them are just viper's nests filled with negative people and with negative things to say because of their own personal experience. And sometimes I will hear from people who say, well, Blue, I'm interested in pursuing medical billing and coding, but a nurse that I work with said that it's too hard and I shouldn't do it and I'm never going to get a job. And I asked the person, is that nurse a medical coder? And they said, no. Okay, well, there you go. If you're not asking somebody who is an actual medical coder, what really good is that advice? And I know sometimes people say things because they're trying to do what is right that they think for their friend or a relative or whoever, and they think that they're in the right place. But in actuality, you know, if you actually do your research, you'll find that this is a very wonderful field. This is a very lucrative field. This is a field that is going to require one to develop, not just personally and professionally, but also, you know, learning to get deep into the studies of medicine, so that way things make more sense. And you're going to really understand. And you're going to understand that sometimes providers use different words to describe the same thing. You're going to learn that there are symptoms that are actually a part of a diagnosis that maybe you didn't think of, right? And so that all goes into being in this field. But again, you know, when I see comments like this, it just breaks my heart, because I think of the people who didn't ask, who stopped at that one person who said, oh, well, I guess that's it then. That's just, I can just give it up. But I really admire this person for going out and saying, well, hey, let me ask. Let me ask medical coding with Blue, which I'm glad. And it doesn't have to be just me that they ask, but the fact that they went to a medical coder and not just stop at just what a recruiter was saying, you know, for a school. Again, these schools are businesses. They're going to do things, they're going to say things, they're going to sell things that is beneficial to their school, okay? They're going to tell you things that they believe. And I try to be as neutral as I possibly can. This is why I talk about AHIMA and AAPC, because I think it's important that coders have the choice of whichever credential or association they want to go through. I never push one over the other. I never say that one association is better than the other. I never do that, okay? Both associations are well respected in the industry, and the credentials that you have, it does not equal your knowledge. Your knowledge applied is what shows your knowledge, not a bunch of credentials. Because you can have a bunch of credentials and not know how to code, okay? You can also have one credential and outrun everybody and outpace everybody. And I've seen it because, hello, I've lived it myself too. So that's something that, you know, I just want to share with you guys today, because, you know, the way this field is, I love it, but it's not made for everybody. I will say that also before I close out this video. It's not for everybody. I've done many videos where I talk about the reasons to not get into this field, and I should probably do another video about that. But it is very studious. You do have to read. There's a lot of people, surprisingly, who tell me, Blue, I don't really like to read. Is it really that important? Yeah, yes, it is very important. Or they'll ask me, do I have to be really good at math? It's plus, minus, multiplication, subtraction math. You know, it's division, subtraction, division is what I was going to say. It's plus, minus, multiplication, division math. That's it, basic math. And that's if you're doing medical billing. Now, there's not a lot of math in medical coding. Most of it is just like when you're having to measure out like wounds in the area and things like that. And it's very easy to do. It is not hard, all right? But this does require you to be a very good speaker. It does require you to be a very good writer, believe it or not, because we do have to send emails to providers. We do have to send emails sometimes to insurance companies if you're doing the billing side, or if you're doing the medical billing and coding side, the combination. Because sometimes people just do the medical billing and sometimes people just do the medical coding. I have always personally done the medical coding side. I do know some things about billing only because I've taught myself. And it's important to know about reimbursements and things like that. You do learn that along the way. But, you know, that's just my advice anyway, guys. So yes, if you're out there and you don't hear something, you hear something that is, it doesn't sound right, you keep asking people and you do your research and you do a simple Google search. If you're curious about the growth of this field in the next decade or so, check out the Department of Labor. You can find all of that information there, and it will tell you how fast it's growing, okay, and the rate of growth. And you know, you being into it is all on you, because as far as like the effort some people put in, you can see the effort put in more from some people and then less by others. But then it's just like, you know, if you really want this career, you've got to go after it, because this field will not chase you. This field is all about you chasing it. But when you get it, you get it. And it is a wonderful career field. I have said that I had my aha moment back in 2014. And ever since then, I have not worked a day in my life. And that's just the way that I feel, because when you feel like that, when you have that aha moment and you decide this is a passion that I have, because I'll see a lot of students, oh, I'm so passionate about medical coding. No, you're excited. There's a difference between being excited and then being passionate. When you're passionate, you can do it for free. Not that you would do it for free, right? To do all the coding and everything, but that's how you feel. That's the freedom that you feel, that, you know, you would just show up every day if you didn't get paid because you love it that much. And then the fact that you do so well at it is just even better. It's just icing on the cake. And when you spend your time not chasing money and not chasing, oh, well, you know, I'm just doing this because this is my 9 to 5. And, you know, when I retire, I'm going to be happy. You know, unfortunately, sometimes when people get to retirement age, you know, that's it for them. And they get so bored, and, you know, they're older and they don't go around as much and move around as much. So you really have to look at something that you're going to enjoy now while you can. And even for my people that are in their 50s and they're just starting this, you know, there's still plenty of time for you to enjoy a nice long career, because, you know, retirement isn't until the 70s, right? 72. So, you know, that's something that you can look forward to. It welcomes people from all walks of life. But enjoy what you do now and find that joy, find that passion. And when you discover it, it literally will set you free. And for me, I have felt that freedom, and I know what the freedom is because I live it every day. I have a wonderful job. I have a growing YouTube channel that just passed 21,000 subscribers. I can't thank you guys enough. That is so awesome. These are organically grown subscribers. I don't have to pay to boost my videos. They just go on their own. And that, when I say that I will never worry about that, I will never worry about that, because as long as I know that I tell the truth, as long as I know that the way that I say things, and when I come across as, well, wow, she's kind of tough when she says that, is because I want you guys to know that I do care. I care enough that you all are going to do what is right for you. And hopefully my videos can help you to decide that, you know. I'm just saying. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. If you've been studying, leave me a blue heart. If you have been reading your coding guidelines, you can leave a blue heart too. And I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. So thank you guys so much. If this video helped you, please like it, subscribe, and share, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.